Okay, so we are discussing time frame to time frame right now, and some of the missing pieces that people have with time frame to time frame information. I think this is a big missing piece that a lot of people, when they think of entries and exits, I think this was one of the biggest links of where I see people upgrading their knowledge set. So I'm kind of glad we're doing RA and thinking about, what can be the different ways that we can enter trades and things like that. And, really the focus today is going to be time frame to time frame. And we're just going to kind of, almost in a way, not restart that lesson, but restart that lesson in a way, because it's going to be something that is extremely relevant in everything we do going forward, thinking about risk assessment, where to enter trades, where to exit trades. Again, I think this is a huge missing link, and I'm just going to kind of walk it back to here. Let's start with this daily level that ends up becoming an origin level. So origin levels are always one time frame up in strength. So I think when people think about levels targeting levels, this is an accurate statement. Levels always target the same levels. It's how Pandora's boxes are created. It's how mirrors are created. It's how we basically create every single target on the top and bottom side. Levels target levels, but the problem with levels target levels is you actually have to understand the full complexities of what that means, where you say levels target levels, because somebody would say, oh, this is a daily origin level. Well, that's actually equal to weekly strength, right? So that's actually something where you have weekly strength, because origin levels are always one time frame up. Whether you break over them or go below them, they're always one time frame up. So we've got kind of a daily rate here, and we're just going to go through a quick example of this. We've already done this, but we're going to go through one more because it's really important to nail this home. You take your replayer tool, you go to something like an area like this here, or even maybe one second. Here we go. I have to turn my screen share on for everybody. There we go. Back, good to go here. Really just all you guys missed with me not sharing my screen there was just, we marked this daily origin here, and we have this daily origin here. So going back to the point where you say, how do you find tops and bottoms? How do you get these kind of, perfect entries and stuff like that? It becomes quite straightforward. You have to just know what levels have what strength. And, for example, this here being an origin level, while this is equal to a weekly, right? So even you can draw this back to this point right here, and you have what's an origin level here, created and targeted. So let's actually even just go back further into this. So you have a daily break right here. So that's equal to a daily break as well, which is this here, right? So you've got a daily break, targets a daily break. It should be pretty straightforward here. If you enter this trade here on this daily break, you really should be looking for that same daily break on the bottom side of your chart. And eventually that's going to become weekly strength once it turns into an origin. So right now they're daily levels targeting daily levels. And you can see that right there, daily level. And you would look at this and you would say, here's a break level, but also there's a 4 hour here. And if this is truly a 4 hour, then it should target that 4 hour, because that's actually the deeper daily level. Now, this is a scenario where if you measured the RA, you'd have 30%, I don't know what it is. I have to zoom in a little bit to see. You'd have 34% here. So that's getting a little risky, but it does cover both levels pretty well. And the test of this level here, you are going to create a ladder off of this, or at least touch that. To go down into this range here, I guess that would have been a possibility to kind of go down here, 84% liquidated. But if you were to go here and you can cover the deep dive of this daily level, because remember, this was already tested one time. So now this is actually going to be a daily level that something like this targets. So there's a reason why you go a little further than this actual daily level here, because at that point you don't actually have this as a weekly level yet. That's actually the first test of that. So you were just going from daily level to daily level here. So if you understood that was the daily level here, being that this was the origin, you have two daily levels, and we kind of always target the lower one. You can target the higher one as long as the spread is covered, but it doesn't cover you in the deep dive. So that's the only thing I would say about this trade, with keeping in mind RA and how you're going to analyze that risk of that trade. And you just go straight forward, and that's now your weekly level, right? So now you now have a weekly level being tested. So really, if you were taking this trade here, you would see that you'd be mirroring from here to here in this trade, letting this trade go on. There it is right there. Targets at daily level. Tries to break above this, fails its weekly breakout, goes back and targets the weekly level. So that's exactly where you're going to see those timeframes targeting each other. And then going up, you're going to see the exact same thing. You're going to see that this being a backside origin here, this is now a backside level. It was an origin. It's now acting as a weekly backside. So if you were to go here on this, you could actually, if you wanted to make it easier for you to understand. So I don't like changing the color of it here because I would have to do this and then I would have to do that. And then I would say, okay, but why do I have a purple level there? That's kind of confusing. So I actually just don't like to leave it as a purple dotted line because to me that would mean monthly strength. I don't like to leave it as a purple solid line because then I'm going to go on my charts and be like, wait, why did I mark that? That's silly. I actually just like to leave it as a red dotted line because no matter what time frame I'm on, I can see like that was, that was an origin level in that moment and it was an origin daily. And so you do the exact same thing. You target a weekly level on top and you're targeting the weekly backside here on the bottom. So you're targeting weekly to weekly level. So a big part of levels, targeting levels and level strength is understanding, and especially with risk management and RA and defining where we can get our best quality entries and exits, is really understanding what could happen in the trade next. And so yesterday I jumped into mentorship with somebody and that's good. We don't need to, further elaborate on that. And yesterday I jumped into mentorship with somebody and I said to them prior to a morning group session when I actually had power and stuff like that, I had shown them that, look, you've created a weekly trend. So if you're going to ladder this weekly trend up, it's going to be off rejection as a target. There is no 4-hour level. So when you have something like this is the next part of analyzing RA and finding that logic flow where you have something. You've created a daily level. If you're going to ladder up in the move, you need to start laddering up timeframes as well. So when you're sitting here yesterday during the day, right, and you're sitting here like this and you're saying, well, what can we target? Well, there's no 4-hour levels here. Like you've got this backside here, which is acting as a daily. So you're actually rejecting a daily backside. So that's fine. You went from weekly right here. You moved all the way down to your daily level right here. And if you go to this, it's actually a weekly there as well. So you actually have a weekly here as well. So you've actually targeted from weekly to weekly on this chart once again. So your targets are actually all in sync, all aligned. Everything is as it should be. Now you can go deeper in this trade and that's perfectly fine. But the thing is here, we create the daily trend. And when I said you can go deeper in the trade, I mean by targeting this, which would technically be a 4-hour level. You could have targeted that next, but because trend is here, you really can't, because then you'd be targeting this daily again. If you are to move up, you need to take daily and create a 4-hour level. If you are to move down, you need to take the weekly and create a daily level. So actually all things are kind of neutral right now. You've actually gone and you've had a weekly level. This, remember, is a daily level. So you're actually kind of technically laddering down if you were to look at this from the standpoint of, hey, well, look, we've got a weekly level, you've got a daily level, next you need to create a 4-hour level. This actually looks like it's laddering down from the top side. The interesting thing about this trade is that you actually are holding here not only a daily level, a weekly here, but also a daily. So your next test on this, if you're moving up, it could be going back and hitting this daily level. So one of the possibilities that I would say you could do, if you're going to ladder up and all things equal, where you've hit a daily level, you may end up going like this and hitting this daily level to kind of complete the trail that connects this to this, therefore continuously to Pandora's boxing. Because you have a daily level here. If you are going to ladder up and break this daily level, what you'd have to do is you don't have any 4-hour levels here. You actually don't have any levels that could be, you have this right here, but we're not gonna stick out and go and target backside levels too much here, because you can get into this constant thing about, hey, there's a backside level here, support, and this is also now holding a daily level, but your greedier daily level is down here, so you really wouldn't use this. This would actually be yellow. And you really wouldn't use this to say that you're bouncing between these two, because all this would say is it's the same as this red trend down here. They're both daily levels. This one's just a little deeper. So if you are going to move up in this trade, you now have to target a 4-hour level to ladder off of. And you don't have any 4-hour levels here. The only 4-hour level you could possibly have, again, would be kind of some of like these backsides. You don't have, like, you could have this. I have a feeling that this level here, though, is going to be below trend. So I'm marking this with an air of caution. You could have this one here. Those would both be 4-hour levels. But yeah, like, again, you've got this here. You've got this, you've got a 4-hour level here. I don't really like this as a trade because I think there's nothing else that's really there. You can go after that, but I like in this scenario, if you have a daily level here, it kind of creates this scenario where it's like, okay, well, you've laddered from weekly to daily and now down to a 4-hour here. So like if you lose this level, there's not much left you can do. You can kind of go and hit this daily, but it probably likely going to collapse there because you're just laddering down too aggressively. You're not actually creating any Pandora's boxes or mirroring. You create a Pandora's box from here to here. And then, your daily from here, and you don't even have a daily yet. So you're actually just kind of Pandora's boxing straight down, right? Like you're actually just kind of Pandora's boxing straight down because there's no way that this level connects to anything because it's just, you're laddering down. You haven't had any support being built and you're just going to start targeting bigger levels down and down and down. And that's where you can see one of the collapses is where you have weekly, daily, you go below this 4-hour, you have a 4-hour, and there's no chance to touch this hourly because then you're going to touch the hourly. Then you have to sit here without breaking that and create a 4-hour here. So then you have to go into this like long set accumulation, and then you can hit this target here and then create a 4-hour here, and it just becomes a very difficult feat. It's not that it can't happen. It just becomes a very difficult feat to not only hit a daily, but to also hold such a tiny range while not rejecting, so creating an hourly hold level here next, and while rejecting that, but breaking over it and hitting this, and then creating a 4-hour here. Like that's a lot to ask in a trade that's just clearly laddering down. Can it happen? Yes. Should you be aware of it? Yes. It's part of our toolkit. Can it happen? Yes. However, like it would be very tough. It would be very tough to actually try to think about longs in there. But and that's why we're using, and we can just kind of delete this guy here, and that's why we're using. And the same thing for any 4-hour levels here that are origin backsides. You've got the daily trend, so you're either going to deep dive those 4-hour origins to hit the trend, or so like this, like you have this level here. You're going to either this is a daily, but it's not the final daily. So like why can't it just go after this? And then in the same token as you get further out in the trade, like okay, you can break this trend, but then you're losing a daily level. You're actually losing the level in order to target this. So the trend actually kind of plays an important role here, which we're going to talk about the implications of trend in a future video. And the more advanced nuances of how it reacts daily to daily information and things like that. But there's a pretty large nuance there to be said about trends and how they work. So right now, it's simply like you've got a daily level here, you've got a daily level here. Taking rejection as a target would tell you that you're laddering up in this trade. So then just moving forward, that really is the only 4-hour level that you can target without this thing completely collapsing. So it actually becomes a pretty straightforward trade to target this 4-hour level and then to see what develops after that. So, and that's exactly what you just target this 4-hour level and then see what develops. And just going to go to an hourly candle here or something. And you can see exactly why now it's kind of just like stuck in this little range right now because it actually is laddering this 4-hour level. And then the next level that you would ladder would be your daily because that would be building that architecture from daily to 4-hour to 1-hour, right? And there it is right there. That's the part of the move right there where then you have your hourly that gets hit perfectly. And if you're going to RA this thing and you're going to sit there and go body, oh, I missed the trade. Well, you don't deserve to be in the trade because you could have targeted the only level that could be targeted for a 5% spread. Why in the hell would you not take the wick there? Like that's a part of measuring RA. Like you've got your daily down there. You've got your 4-hour here. You've got your hourly here. Next would be your 15 minutes. So the 15-minute level, which is going to be right here. You see how this is starting to build up architecture to break the trade? This has to continue building this architecture or it's going to have some kind of other level like the daily hold, this hold, or maybe you can go back and target this daily now. Like if that 15 doesn't hold, then maybe you could target this, or maybe there's a 15-minute origin. And I haven't looked yet, but what can we find? Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. There's no 15-minute origins. Oh, right here. So you could go deep dive this as your hourly level, which would be laddering hourly levels as well. So I think that would be the next place that I look because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say like, look, here's an hourly level. It laddered this hourly level. It can now ladder this hourly level. So if this 15 collapses, it's not the end of the world, right? It can actually go and target this hourly, right? I don't really think there's any 4-hour levels to be had here. Is there an hourly origin? Maybe we can even go back and start that trail over again right here, actually. So we could actually even go one step further. And there's a scenario here also where you create the 4-hour level here. Maybe this wasn't the 4-hour. This can actually hold the trade up. from this daily, recreate the 4, recreate that trail of 1 hour levels. So you see, understanding what level strength really means and what these origins represent. And alternatively, you could also, hit this, break down below it, and now you've got a 4-hour backside. You've got a daily, now you've got a perfect short, because now you've got a 4-hour backside, because a 4 hour is not able to develop. So if you were, let's take this one step further, if you were to come down, break this level, and it was a very fast moving trade, if you couldn't create a 4-hour level here somewhere, like you'd have to do this. Okay, cool, we have a 4-hour level. Then you can go here, let that 4-hour level hold, see if you can target the hourly trade here. You target this hourly, it breaks above this, and then starts to attack the higher ranges. What happens though, if you start moving down through this trade and you can't create a 4-hour level, you can only create like a 1-hour level? Well, you've gapped the trade almost in a way. You've gapped your time frames, because you've got a daily level, no 4-hour to support it, and a 4-hour here would be a perfect short to see this thing sink to the ground. So it really gives you ultimate transparency on what's going to happen next on the trade, because now you can say, look, I've got a daily level here, and I've got a daily level here, and we are seeing what 4-hour can develop. So whatever 4-hour is developing first to support the move, and it looks like right now it's up. Now, it looks like we've got an hourly here. The 15 there got targeted. I think we could even go down here. I think you've got an hourly here. I think you've got all these different trades, but now it gives you the time frame in which you really should be targeting. So now, by understanding what origins really mean and how we build up these trades in terms of, okay, daily hold, now we have to have a 4-hour next. One of these sides in this trade, and I have a feeling it's going to be this level, because this is kind of like the perfect point of polarity, and this is also redefining how we understand polarity as well. This looks like an extremely polarized point on this chart. You're either going to hold this and invalidate this daily. You're going to lose this, create a 4-hour here, and mirror between these two to see what's going to happen. Or you're going to go through this trade and go up too fast, therefore back targeting and not being able to create your 4-hour level here. Back targeting the 4, this holds and snaps the whole trade down. And that's how major parts of moves are lost in ranges too. Because this is what it looks like to extrapolate all the data from level strength in a range. This is what it looks like to extrapolate it to see which time frame gets gapped, to see, and using that term gapped, like everybody has a million different definitions of it. I use the term gapped as, oh, look, we've got a combo level, we have a 15-minute, a 5 level. Oh, there's no 3-minute level, it goes to a 1-minute level. It's a disconnected time frame. I just refer to that as gap. So maybe a better term for this, instead of gapping a level strength, would be disconnected level strength. So disconnecting your level strength in a trade will instantly show you which way it's going to snap up or down, and you can see exactly why. But a big missing piece to understanding RE and targets for people, like a major piece, is realizing that these origin levels are one time frame up, and that when you lose, they like, this is a good example of polarity right here, because this is going to be a scenario where you have a 4-hour that redefines the entirety of the trade, because it ladders off this daily. This daily can't create its 4-hour, and this 4-hour holds. This thing is gone. This thing's it's going downtown for the long ball. This thing's a Hail Mary to the bottom side of the chart. Like, where does it go from there? I don't know. No. I guess we have to see where the next weekly level would be, because on the top side of the target, if you go to a more external point of this, like, you've got a weekly level up here. Well, where's your weekly levels down here? Like, where do those exist, right? I guess this would be your next weekly level. Or there could be a weekly trend. I haven't done the weekly levels, but this would be the next weekly level. So weekly level targets the next weekly level. You drop your range to the next weekly level. Had this not been here, oh boy, I don't know what's next. Well, there's actually no weekly levels there. I guess possibly this one could be, it's not even a monthly, so that's not possible. And it's not a daily either. Yikes, is that ever scary? So where's the weekly level if that drops? Down here? Is there anything else? Daily origin anywhere? I guess you could bounce this twice. Oh, right here. There it is. Right there. Weekly level. So that's where you drop your range to, 34K. You drop your range to 34K in that nuance. Unless the daily offsets it, which is telling you this is going to break, but I really find that hard to believe. But hey, it's possible. Possible weekly level here. No, that's hard closed and broken. No 2 candlesticks. Possible right here. No, that's not an origin. It just goes straight through it and tests it. So again, this is, when you're talking about how to see a trade and where it's going, and level strength and disconnected level strength, this is like a huge piece of the missing puzzle, because you can even see right now, as this architecture has built daily to the 4, to the hourly, to the 15, Is there a 5-minute level here that can hold this thing up? Oh, there's a backside right here, actually. Backside 5, but I would really like to actually just see the front side targeted here. Really actually just like to see this front side. Did it get hit too? Yeah, it did actually, right there. Right there it got hit. So can we find the 3-minute now? Like, let's just kind of color code this and see where we're at. Like, if this thing's going to keep moving up, like, this is the way in which it does it, right? Like, you got 5-minute here. Sorry, 5 minutes supposed to be orange. We got 5-minute here. So where's the 3? Or the 1 OG. That's the next thing. Or can you have a 1-minute origin? No, there's no 1-minute origins. Okay, not inside of that. Could you combo the 5 to a 3 right here? Well, that's actually the 3 as well. So you almost kind of have to create some kind of 3-minute level here. Almost like something like this. Or you have 1-minute levels. Is this disconnect? You've got a 1-minute level there. So I'm wondering if I'm missing something. I would instantly, when I see this, I would say like, okay, we've disconnected a time frame, right? So you've got a 1-minute level. So you've kind of disconnected those time frames and that strength. I would instantly start looking for a 3-minute level. Like, where did I miss this thing that's above the 5? Nowhere. There's really nowhere. Like, this is hard closed. There's nothing in here. You've got a 1 minute. Is there a different 5-minute target that we could go after? We could go after this as a 5-minute target, hit that twice, and then create a 3-minute level. Now, this isn't developed yet, but I would like to mark it on my chart. I would like to mark it on my chart as rejection as a target. So we're gonna go for like a pink level here. Rejection as a target on this. Hit it 2 times, create the 5-minute level, and then ladder the 3 in the future off of that. Hit this twice and then create a 3-minute hold level. So like what I would like to do is I'd like to see this thing hit twice, either take knife catch entry here or let it hit twice, let it develop the 3-minute move, and then, or re-enter here. So my entries are here or here kind of thing. And I might not enter this here. I may shift this to the second touch of this. I may shift it to here out of safety because you could also just drop this level. So I don't know if the 3-minute knife catch makes sense here, but as a second hit, yes. So if this can hold this on the first touch, then I think the second touch is where you enter here, or you wait for even more safety and enter here. So now you can kind of rank your trades and what makes sense in order of what needs to be created. Well, this can't create it yet, and this could technically drop straight down to this 4-hour level and then make the hourly level and all that. So this is why I don't like taking it on the first test there, because it actually has to test it twice. So how do you cap that move? You test this here, you cap it to an inverse 24% or whatever. You even just go to this greediest level here. Say we drop right now, what's the cap on this trade? 48% versus liquidation, not worth it. It's less than a 1-to-1 trade, risk versus reward. Second hit though, I do like that because I think that can develop the move to break up, because now you're laddering timeframes up and you're gonna start breaking this backside stuff here. So disconnecting your level strength and understanding where that exists is critical to taking targets. And this is a big missing piece for a lot of people. And for obvious reasons, because this is not an easy lesson to follow, nor is it a simple concept or simple to see. You have to kind of be able to see timeframes and mark them properly. And that's the thing. You have to mark them properly, and you have to understand the logic flow of where the 4-hour level can even exist in this case. Because even before saying that this could be a target and this could be a target, and this was a perfect target, and it is now creating the ladder, even before seeing these, you would have to understand that this origin represents a daily level, and you've bounced to a daily level here. So if you were to create the 4, you could ladder up, which makes it a very valuable target to go after, because your risk to reward, again, here, come back to this moment on the replayer tool, go back to this moment. Now you can measure, does it make sense to take a 4-hour level here? Does it make sense to take a 1-hour level, a 15-minute level? What level should I target? It always has to be the 4. Can you RA these? Do both levels get covered by taking this trade? Yes. Well, then you should definitely be taking this 4-hour level as a trade, because if both get covered, you know exactly what time frame you're going after, and then you know exactly what you need to create next. So if you were to take that 4-hour, you know creating the 1-hour is your trigger. So, okay, we've done the 4, we've created the 1, we lose this, trigger out of the trade. If you're in it for the long game, trigger out. If you're in it for the short game, take your scalp. 1% is decent, actually. It's not bad. It's not bad on that level. But now you have your perfect trigger point and exactly what needs to ladder this trade. Bang, hit right there. Then you have the 15. Bang, hit right there. Now you have the 3. Now you know if this bounces first time, second time you can enter it. So understanding level strength from origins and how to disconnect levels from each other and what to target next. Massive weapon in your arsenal. Huge piece of your toolkit.